What's up, brothers? Not many interesting products to break recently. I was actually pretty interested in breaking SP retail hockey blasters this year because they actually guarantee one jersey or one out per blaster, which is super uncommon for Upper Deck, unfortunately. But for some reason, I don't think they sell these blasters in the US. But I've seen some people finding, actually pretty few people finding them in Canada, but in the US it doesn't look like they're selling them yet. Maybe they will be selling them later. And another product I was interested in was Top's Finest Champions League, but when I woke up the prices was so steep, so I didn't end up buying, because boxes are something like $360 shipped, so pretty steep, but I however participated in some breaks online and hit some pretty good cards, and so maybe I will make a video showing them, but because we are not breaking anything, and in order for you not to forget that my channel exists, I decided to record this video where I will show some recent additions to my PC. So they're gonna be 2 hockey cards and one soccer card. So the first edition is this Eagle Shesterkin high gloss Young Guns, numbered 2 out of 10. Shesterkin is a special player for me, not only because he plays for Rangers, which is kind of my local team, but also because his junior team was Spartak Moscow, which is my favorite team in Russia, but unfortunately he moved away from Spartak Moscow to SKA St. Petersburg, which is by far my least favorite team in Russia, so I have like a little bit of mixed feelings of him, but so I decided that I won't be building a full-scale personal collection of him, but I'll get a couple of key cards, and high gloss Young Guns is obviously one of the very key cards in any player collection. So I was feeling pretty good about getting this card. And so what's also unusual about this card is, unlike most Young Guns, it was an SP Authentic this year, not in Series 1 or Series 2, because he made his NHL debut so late in the season. I think it was in late January against Avalanche. I remember Rangers won that game like 4-2. So I wasn't there, and that's one of the reasons I'm not gonna build the personal collection of him, because with Pavel Buchnevich, who I built a full-scale rookie year collection. I was actually at his first ever NHL game at Madison Square Garden. It was the 16-17 season opener against Islanders. So I think he got 1 assist in that game. Didn't score, but was a good game. I think the game ended like something like 5-2 to Rangers. So, but overall, it's a very nice addition to my collection of high gloss Young Guns of Russian players, and Tsar Igor looks pretty good with other high gloss Russian goalie cards. I have like this Vasilevsky 8 to 10. You can see there's this 8 to 10. The numbering is not even like the numbering is not like a straight line. This 8 kind of sticks up like a pretty terrible quality control from upper deck. And also what is the problem in this Vasilevsky card is it says 14-15 upper deck series 2 hockey, but in fact this Vasilevsky card, it was also an update in an SP authentic, so at least upper deck like now learned something, and they can tell what is update or what is series 2. But the third card of Young Guns high gloss card of Russian goalie is this Sergei Bobrovsky high gloss Young Guns. Actually, all years this high gloss Young Guns were called a high gloss, except in this like Bobrovsky year 10-11, they were called upper deck exclusives. Usually upper deck exclusive are numbered to 100, but that year exclusives were numbered to 10 and then numbered to 100. Like so, like as you can see, like upper deck is like super consistent in naming the cards and then pointing out which product is it from. Like so, this Bobrovsky Young Guns was actually a regular Young Guns from Series 1, so that's pretty nice. One Young Guns which I missed on eBay was Ilya Samsonov Young Guns last year. It was up for an auction, but I was busy with something, so missed it. But I think those 3 look very good together. Hopefully I will be able to add some sort of at one point as well. And the reason I named this video the best upper deck flagship card ever is this another addition to my high gloss Young Guns collection, and this is high gloss Young Guns of Sidney Crosby, so numbered 7 out of 10. So usually I only get Russian players, but whenever I see a top player from other nations, I am also trying to get them whenever possible. And this Crosby Young Guns high gloss was a long time goal for me. Actually, that's not that easy to find that card. You can find as I was able to find 2 copies, one on Facebook, one on Instagram, but one owner wasn't selling, and another owner wanted like the amount of money which could get me a nice apartment on Manhattan. So I had to pass, but I finally managed to land this card, and I think objectively speaking, this is the best Series 1 card ever, because other strong contenders could be this signed Young Guns, but they were not really from a Series 1. They were like a repack product and not a true rookie, because they were not from a true rookie year. So I think it's pretty clear that this is the best Series 1 card ever. In terms of grading, it's graded 9, but I don't really care about the grading as long as the card looks like okay. It's just that this card which came out for sale was graded to 9, so I got it. I think there are 2 other copies which graded BGS 9, and one other copy which graded like PCA 9, so there are no really perfect there does seem to be perfect conditions of that card. And what's nice is that numbered 7 out of 10, so it's partial jersey number, so 87, so 8 out of 10 and 7 out of 10, so kind of 2 jersey numbers. No, not really jersey numbers, but that's how I like to think about this card. So the corners here are 9 and edges are 9. I think it's because of this top right corner, which is like a little bit soft. I'm not sure if you are able to see it or not, but otherwise it looks pretty sharp. And in terms of edges, there is a small like imperfection here. So I think that's why like corners and edges are 9. But this of course looks good with my Ovechkin high gloss card. So the best card in Series 1 hockey and best card in Series 2 hockey. So this is numbered 9 out of 10. So for Ovechkin, actually, the jersey number would be possible, though, as it's unfortunately not jersey numbered. So I was considering getting this graded just for safety reasons at some point, but then I thought like sending it like to BGS, it's too much hassle and might be like too risky. So just keep them together. This two perennial contenders. Although I think this year, because NHL came up with this crazy plan to start playoffs in August, it will be really hard for older players because their bodies are so used to starting the season in October and ending it in early June. So I think it's not likely that Ovechkin or Crosby will win the cup this year. Actually, I think young teams like Rangers might be much more likely to win the cup this year, because for younger players, the younger body is just so much easier to adapt to the changes in the physical challenges. So I think young players will be able to skate into this resumed season in a much better shape. Although I'm not sure if it's going to be in particular Rangers, although Rangers obviously is a very young team, but they're also facing Carolina, which is another young team. So this is going to be an interesting pairing. And so just now I see that there is another lull here. So you can see that the Crosby number 7 out of 10 is from bottom to top of the card. But Ovechkin number 9 out of 10 is from top to bottom. So upper deck deer, like I don't understand why can't they just this numbering, it's not even printed on card. It's just I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but it's a sticker, so they can't even like stick it properly, like pretty low, of course. So and the last recent edition, and actually this is a very topical edition to given today's day, is this Crescent signature hard out of Gabriel Batistuta from 1617 ability. Soccer, so this is one of the sets which I'm actually trying to complete, because it's a hard out set, and it's also like this glossy cards which I like a lot. And so I'm missing I think only 3 cards. So it's Neville. I actually don't remember if it's Gary or Phil. I think it's Gary Neville. Then Bobby Charlton, who is actually the only sticker out in that set, although otherwise it's a hard out. And then Roberto Baggio, who didn't actually return his autos on time, and his Crescent signatures were in 2016-17 Immaculate. So if you have any of these 3 cards, just hit me up. But why this is a special card? Well, it is a special card for today, because on July 4th, 1993 was the last time Argentinian team won anything as a national team. So Copa America 93, that the last title of Albiceleste, and Batistuta was by far the best player of that tournament. So So he's essentially was the younger collectors might not remember him, but as somebody who was following soccer very closely in the 90s, he was essentially the face of Argentinian national team between Maradona and Messi, and unlike the dwarf, he actually managed to win something with the national team. Copa America, although his supporting squad was much poorer than Messi. So I have a lot of sympathy for Batistuta, although I don't remember 1993 Copa America final because I was living in Europe back then, and due to the time difference, I wasn't watching, and I think I was 6 years old back then. So, but still, like the only tournament the first tournament of Batistuta I remember very clearly was a '98 World Cup in France, where he and Ortega, I remember I was watching this Argentina-Jamaica 5-0, like an epic game. I think Batistuta scored 3 and Ortega scored 2. But yes, and of course. As I'm doing kind of a wine pairing of the cards in this video, I would like to pair this Batistuta card with another card in this set of Maradona. So the face of Argentinian soccer during 70s and 80s, and the face of Argentinian soccer during 90s and early 2000s. I actually like Maradona card a little bit better because this black outer looks better than blue outer, because these cards are black and white. If they actually would be blue and white, like Argentinian national team, then of course Maradona's card would, of course, like Batistuta's cards would look better with blue outer. But as of now, I would prefer that Batistuta would also have black outer. Unfortunately, there is no Messi in this set. It would be a really cool trifecta of top Argentinian players: Maradona, Batistuta, and Messi. So and what is also would be like really special for them, for those three, that each of them were really devoted to their club teams. So Maradona played most of his career for Napoli. Then Batistuta, I think, except for one season, like in Roma, I think he played the whole career for Fiorentina, and then the dwarf, of course, played the whole career in Barcelona. Although I think now he is not satisfied that they are not they're clearly the second team to Real now. Although it's pretty much joke. Ronaldo left Real, and Barcelona still cannot win La Liga. So this is a pretty joke. But hopefully we will be breaking some products soon. I hope that maybe SP Retail Hockey will hit the US